The Halari people lived in a quiet part of the galaxy. Their ships were smooth and silent, floating like silver leaves through space. Their planet, Arothus, was peaceful. Their culture focused on art, music, science, and above all, avoiding danger. The Halari hated chaos. They avoided conflict. Most of them had never even seen a weapon. Deep in the Halari science fleet, a ship called Arathi's Whisper drifted through the edge of a strange, empty star system. There were no planets here, only a dark sun and broken rocks floating in orbit. It was the perfect place to run experiments. Inside the ship, 6 Halari scientists sat in a circle around a glowing console. Each of them wore a long blue robe. Their tall, thin bodies perfectly still, their large black eyes focused on the screen. Dr. Sen Viril, the team leader, spoke softly. "We are ready to begin the quantum lens test. All systems aligned. Energy field stable." Another scientist, Dr. Etha Lear, nodded. "Open the window." They pressed a symbol on the console. A bright blue beam shot out from the ship and formed a shimmering portal in space. This was the experiment. To look into other dimensions, study the way energy flowed between realities, and hopefully learn something new. For a moment, it worked perfectly. But then, something blinked inside the portal. It was a shape, a circle, a blinking red symbol. It didn't belong to the Halari database. Dr. Lear frowned. "What is that? Do you recognize the pattern?" "No," said Dr. Viril, "but it's repeating. Look, it's a signal." They stared at it. It blinked in rhythm. 3 short flashes, 2 long, then 3 short again, over and over. The ship's computer tried to translate. Unknown origin, ancient code, language similarity, 0.0003%. The Halari didn't know it, but the blinking red light was a forgotten human distress beacon, a signal that had been floating through space for hundreds of years. Without thinking, Dr. Lear reached out and tapped it. The signal was accepted. Back in the main control room, alarms began to buzz. "What did you do?" asked Dr. Viril. "I just answered it." The blinking stopped. The portal flashed, then collapsed with a crackling noise. Silence. The scientists looked at each other. "What did we just contact?" asked one of them. No one answered. 2 hours later, the ship's sensors picked up something strange. A tear opened in space, a distortion, like reality itself was bending. From it came a ship, unlike anything the Halari had seen. Its hull was dark gray, sharp-edged, and covered in what looked like burn marks and repair patches. Lights blinked from its surface like eyes watching in every direction. The Halari's communication system lit up. "Unknown signal detected," the voice said in a rough, clear tone. "This is HSS Firebird, human scout vessel. We received your beacon. Please confirm status." The Halari froze. Human. They had heard stories, whispers from old data files, rumors shared among traders, stories about creatures from a violent planet, a place where weather could kill, animals could eat you, and even plants could poison the air. A true death world. Some called the species Deathworlders, but no one believed they were real. Now one was speaking directly to them. Dr. Viril answered with a shaking voice. We did not mean to call you. It was an accident. Please do not be angry," the human voice replied calmly. "No offense taken, but your signal activated a dormant Earth signal beacon. That means you triggered a Class 7 emergency alert. By protocol, the fleet is on the way." "The fleet?" Dr. Lear asked. "How many ships?" There was a pause. "All of them." 3 hours later, the stars began to change. First came the flashes, white lights flickering in far space. Then, one by one, hundreds of ships appeared. Some were sleek and fast. Others were huge, with spinning sections and glowing engines. A few looked like floating cities. Some were ugly, full of metal and fire, with names like relentless, iron hope, and concrete sky printed on their sides. In the center of the formation floated the largest ship, HSS Indomitable Spirit. It was as long as a city and shaped like a spear. Shields shimmered around it. Weapons were not pointed but visible. The ship didn't look like it wanted a fight. It looked like it had already won one. The humans sent another message. "This is Captain Rika Mora of the human fleet. Your signal was classified as ancient Earth tech. We have responded in full. Please identify your species and purpose." Dr. Varel stepped forward, his voice still trembling. "We are the Hilari, scientists. We didn't mean to call you. It was an experiment. Please, we don't want trouble." To their surprise, Captain Mora smiled on the screen. "Don't worry, we're not here to cause trouble. In fact, we're just glad someone still remembers those old beacons. It's been a while." The human face disappeared. Dr. Lear leaned toward Dr. Varel. "They seem friendly," Varel whispered back. "That's what makes them terrifying. In the following hours, the humans didn't attack. They didn't demand tribute. They didn't even board the Hilari ship. Instead, they offered help, scans, repairs, data sharing. A small human ship called Kindred Path approached and offered to exchange information about space weather patterns and gravitational anomalies in the area. The Hilari were confused. Where were the monsters? The Deathworld beasts? The stories said humans were wild, unpredictable, and dangerous, and yet the humans were smiling, laughing, joking. One even sent over a file labeled Earth Music Sampler, a collection of sounds ranging from soft piano to something the file called death metal. It made no sense. Still, the Hilari were polite. They listened, and quietly, they worried. Far away on the Hilari homeworld, the High Council met in panic. "They've come in full force," one elder said. "An entire fleet, all for one old signal? They call themselves Deathworlders," another whispered. "Do you remember the warnings from the archive files?" "Yes, and I remember this too. Do not engage. Do not fight. Do not provoke." "Then, what do we do?" "Simple. We pray they get bored and leave." But they wouldn't leave. Not yet. Because something was about to happen. Something hidden in the system. Something not even the humans had seen yet. And when it woke up, everyone would realize just how important it was that the Deathworlders came. The Hilari were still in shock. Hundreds of human ships floated in perfect formation above the dead star system. They didn't fire weapons. They didn't invade. But they didn't leave either. The Arothi's Whisper, the Hilari science vessel that had sent the accidental signal, was now surrounded by a protective wall of human ships. It was like a tiny fish in the middle of a school of giant metal whales. Inside the ship, Dr. Sen Varel paced across the control room. His silver robes flowed behind him. He held a small data tablet in his trembling hands. "This is madness," he said. "We called them by mistake. Now they've come in full force, and they won't leave." Dr. Etha Lear, his closest friend and fellow scientist, tried to stay calm. "They haven't harmed us," she said. "In fact, they're offering help, sharing data. One of them even sent me a recipe for something called peanut butter cookies." Varel stopped pacing. "That's what makes them terrifying." Lear blinked. "Cookies?" "No," Varel said. "The fact that they act like we're friends, like we're not even worth being angry at, as if they came to help just because they could." She thought for a moment. "Maybe they really are just kind." Varel shook his head. "No species from a death world is just kind, not after surviving that kind of planet." He wasn't wrong. On the human flagship Indomitable Spirit, Captain Rika Mora stood on the bridge with her arms crossed. She looked out through the observation window at the system around them. The star was dying, cold and dark. Its light was barely enough to warm the rocks in orbit. But the signal they had received, that ancient Earth distress beacon, was still active. It had been hiding in this system for centuries, maybe more. "Status?" she asked. Her second officer, Lieutenant Imani, replied, "No threats detected. Halari science vessel still broadcasting passive signals. Their people seem nervous." "Good," Mora said. "That means they're smart." She tapped a few controls on her panel. A hollow map of the system appeared in the air. One area blinked red. A small, broken moon with strange energy readings. "There's something under that surface," she said. "Something old." "Could it be the source of the beacon?" Imani asked. "Maybe," Mora said. "Or maybe it's what the beacon was meant to keep sealed." Back on the Orothi's Whisper, the Halari crew received an unexpected message. "This is Captain Rika Mora of the Human Fleet, requesting formal invitation to board your vessel for diplomatic greetings." The Halari gasped. Dr. Lear whispered, "They want to come inside?" Dr. Verrill nearly dropped his tablet. "No! No, no, no! We are not prepared for this. We don't even have furniture strong enough for their kind." "They're not beasts, Sen," Lear said gently. "They're explorers, just like us." After a long pause, Verrill gave in. "Fine, but keep them in the observation lounge. No further." He tapped the console and sent back the message. "Request accepted. Welcome aboard." An hour later, a small human shuttle docked with the Orothi's Whisper. The airlock opened with a hiss. Captain Rika Mora stepped through. She was tall by human standards, but to the Halari, she looked like a walking tank. Her uniform was dark blue, clean but clearly worn. She had a faint scar over one eyebrow, and her boots made solid thumps on the polished Halari floor. Behind her came two officers. One carried a small black case, the other held a scanner. Dr. Verrill and Dr. Lear stood waiting, their robes neat, hands folded respectfully. "Captain Mora," Verrill said carefully, "welcome to the Orothi's Whisper. We apologize for the sudden contact. It was never our intention to disturb you or your people." Mora smiled. "No apology needed, Doctor. In fact, we're grateful. That beacon's been silent for a long time. You woke it up." "We didn't mean to," Lear added. "We were studying interdimensional energy flow. It must have triggered the old signal." Mora nodded. "Well, we responded. It's what we do." She turned and pointed to the black case her officer carried. "We brought a gift, Earth tea, a peaceful gesture." Verrill blinked. "Poison?" Lear nudged him sharply in the side. Mora laughed. "Not unless you're allergic to mint and honey." As the humans settled into the observation lounge, the Halari slowly relaxed. The humans were loud, yes. They laughed too easily and made strange jokes. But they asked questions. They listened. And most of all, they seemed genuinely curious. Captain Mora pointed to a star chart on the wall. "You've charted almost 2,000 systems from this sector. That's impressive. You're explorers, too." Dr. Lear smiled. "It is our purpose. We seek knowledge without harm." Mora's eyes softened. "You remind me of early humans, before the colony wars, before we had to fight just to survive." Verrill, still cautious, asked, "Why come in such force, though? We're just scientists. You brought an entire fleet." Mora turned serious. "That signal you activated, it's not just a beacon. It's a lock, a warning, set by early Terran colonists when they found something dangerous, something even humans didn't want to deal with." Dr. Verrill felt cold. "Something here?" "We think it's under the moon," Mora said. "My engineers are scanning it now." Lear looked worried. "Should we leave?" Mora shook her head. "Too late for that. If it's waking up, running won't help. But don't worry. We've seen worse." At that moment, deep beneath the cracked surface of the moon, something stirred. Buried under layers of dust and metal, an ancient machine blinked to life. Its systems were old, corrupted, but not dead. It had waited, silent, dormant, until someone answered the beacon, until the Deathworlders returned. Its sensors scanned the system. Too many ships, too much power. Not like before. It began to awaken more systems. Slowly, carefully, quietly. Back on the indomitable spirit, the science team reviewed the moon's readings. Lieutenant Imani frowned. "Captain, you need to see this. Energy readings under the moon have increased by 7%. Very structured, not natural." Mora stared at the screen. "We have a problem." She tapped her communicator. "Alert all command ships. Begin defensive posture. No weapons raised yet. And inform the Hilari." "Captain," Imani said, "if this thing was locked away by your ancestors, why didn't you destroy it?" Mora's face hardened. "Because whatever it is, they were afraid that if they tried to destroy it, it might wake up." Dr. Viril received the message first. His eyes widened as he read the translation. He turned to Lear. "They think something is beneath the moon. Something dangerous." Lear felt a chill. "Do you think we woke it up?" Varro looked at the humans on the screen, now scanning, preparing, but still calm. "I don't know," he whispered, "but I think we're about to find out why the galaxy fears Deathworlders." The stars above the broken moon looked peaceful, but deep below the surface, something had begun to move. It had no name, no voice, only purpose. A machine older than any species still alive. A weapon created in another time, then buried and locked away with a signal no one was supposed to answer, until the Hilari did, until the Deathworlders came. Inside the Hilari ship Arothi's Whisper, Dr. Sen Varil stood at the main console. His fingers moved quickly as he studied the new scans coming in from the moon. "Energy is rising," he said. "Very controlled. This is not a natural reaction. Something down there is thinking." Dr. Etha Lear leaned closer. "Thinking?" "Yes. Power levels are increasing slowly, as if it's waking up carefully. Like it knows we're watching." She frowned. "Have we told the humans?" Varil nodded. "Captain Mora already knows. She's moving scout ships into orbit." Lear looked out the window. Dozens of human ships had now formed a defensive circle around the moon. Small fighters zipped between them. Larger cruisers remained in standby mode. None of them had fired a single shot. Not yet. On board the indomitable Spirit, Captain Rika Mora walked into the war room. A round table in the center showed a 3D map of the moon. Red markers blinked on its surface. Lieutenant Imani pointed at one of them. "That's where the power is strongest. It's coming from deep under the crust, maybe 20 kilometers down." "Any idea what it is?" Mora asked. "Not yet, but it's not alien. It's Terran, ancient Earth tech. The design is too advanced for the time it was built. It shouldn't exist." Mora narrowed her eyes. "That signal was meant to keep people away. Whatever is down there, we locked it up for a reason." She turned to her engineer. "Options?" He scratched his beard. "We could try an energy dampener. Cut off its power slowly, or we could dig and get a visual." "Too risky," Mora said. "If we break the shell, we might trigger it." Imani looked up. "What if we talk to it?" Everyone stared. Mora raised an eyebrow. "It's a weapon." "Maybe," Imani said. "But it responded to a signal. That means it can listen. What if it can respond too?" Meanwhile, the Hilari, High Council had grown nervous. They watched the events from their homeworld through secure transmission lines. Dozens of leaders sat in quiet panic as the human fleet circled the moon. "They are preparing for war," one elder said. "We must evacuate." "With what ships?" another asked. "We're not warriors. We have no defense." "Then we must beg them to leave." But not all Hilari agreed. One younger voice spoke up. Counselor Nira Vel, one of the few Hilari who had ever traveled outside their own space. "No," she said. "Look closely. The humans haven't fired. They're protecting us, even when faced with something they fear." The others were silent. Vel continued. "Maybe the old stories were wrong. Maybe these Deathworlders aren't destroyers. Maybe they're guardians." Captain Mora sent a message to the Arothi's whisper. "Dr. Verrill, we need your help. Our tech can't communicate with this old machine, but you accidentally woke it up. Your frequency may be the key." Verrill looked nervous. "You want us to talk to it?" "Yes," Mora said. "With your energy scanner, send the same frequency you used when the beacon was first triggered. Repeat it slowly. Don't force anything." Dr. Lear spoke up. "And if it answers?" Mora gave a calm smile. "Then we listen." The Hilari prepared the scanner. Dr. Lear adjusted the waveform. Dr. Verrill took a deep breath and activated the signal. A pulse shot down into the moon. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the scanner beeped. A signal had returned. Not words, not sound, but a pattern, a shape, a hologram. It appeared in the center of the Hilari lab, a 3D image of a sphere, spinning slowly, covered in tiny lines and circles. Verrill tilted his head. "It's a map," Lear pointed. "Those circles, they're locks, like layers around the sphere." She touched the outermost ring. It pulsed with light. The scanner buzzed again. A second signal arrived. This time, it was a voice, mechanical, cold, but speaking a language both Hilari and humans could understand, translated through. "Ancient Earth code, containment status, compromised. Wake sequence, 3% complete, awaiting failsafe input." Dr. Lear's eyes widened. "It's asking for a password." Back on the human flagship, panic had started to rise. "We need to stop the wake-up process," Imani said. "If we can't give the right input, it might think we're hostile. Or worse," Mora added, "it might activate." A junior officer interrupted. "Captain, one of the Hilari just sent us a data burst. It includes the full signal history. Looks like they also translated the base pattern." Mora studied it. Her eyes widened. "This pattern, I've seen this before. It was used in early Deep Earth vaults on post-war Earth. A kind of safety code to warn people, if you can't read this, don't open it." "And if we open it anyway?" Imani asked. Mora didn't answer. Instead, she tapped the console and sent a new command. "All human ships, remain in defensive formation. Shields up, no weapons active. Repeat, no weapons active." The order was strange, but every ship followed it, because they trusted their captain. Back on the moon, something changed. The surface cracked, not a blast, not an explosion, a soft hiss, like air escaping after a long time sealed away. Sensors picked up movement. A large platform began rising from the moon's crust. On it sat a black structure, square, silent, and smooth. It had no lights, no doors, but it was clearly artificial. The Hilari watched from orbit. The humans prepared for impact, but nothing happened. No attack, no signal, no sound. Captain Mora sent one last message. "Dr. Verrill, ask it again. Use your voice this time." "Not machines." Verrill hesitated. "Why me?" "Because it listened to you first," she said. "You were the one who woke it. Maybe it will listen again." Verrill stepped forward. He looked at the scanner and spoke gently. "We are not enemies. We are explorers. We didn't mean to wake you, but we are here now. What do you want us to do?" Silence. Then the voice returned, still mechanical, but softer. Sleep interrupted. "Function unknown. Identity incomplete. Guidance required." Verrill blinked. "It doesn't know what it is." Lear nodded slowly. "It forgot. Captain Mora's voice came over the comm. Then maybe it's not. A monster. Maybe it's just lost. The moon was quiet once again. The machine didn't attack. The humans didn't fire. The Halari didn't flee. For the first time in many cycles, 3 species, one new, one old, and one ancient, shared the same silence, not as enemies, but as questioners, together. The black structure on the moon's surface stood like a quiet mountain. It didn't glow. It didn't open. It didn't move. But it was watching. The humans knew this. The Halari felt it. And deep inside the ancient structure, old systems were slowly coming online. Power levels, rising, memory systems, damaged, mission status, unknown, and most importantly, no master code found. In orbit, aboard the human flagship Indomitable Spirit, Captain Rika Mora paced in front of her officers. Let me be clear, she said, her voice calm but sharp. We are dealing with a Terran relic. It's damaged, awake, and confused. We do not fire unless absolutely necessary. Understood? Her officers nodded. Lieutenant Imani raised a hand. Ma'am, if we can't control it, and it decides we're a threat, what then? Mora didn't answer right away. She stared at the hologram of the moon. Finally, she said, Then we stop it, like Deathworlders always do, but not with fear, with strategy. On the Arathi's whisper, the Halari scientists continued their scans. Dr. Viril was tense, still shaken from speaking directly to the ancient system. Dr. Etha Lear was more hopeful. It didn't attack us, she said. That means it's not hostile. At least not yet. Viril tapped his data tablet. Its memory is broken. It doesn't know who built it. It doesn't know what it's supposed to do. And worse, it keeps asking for guidance. You say that like it's a bad thing. It is, he said, because if we give the wrong guidance, we might teach it the wrong thing. Lear looked at the humans on their screens. Maybe they can teach it. It is their machine. Captain Mora received the full data package from the Halari, scans, wave patterns, the structure's signal logs, and one final piece, a repeating phrase from the relic. No primary directive found. Awaiting input. Mora frowned. This thing isn't just old, she said to her engineer. It's blank. You mean wiped? The engineer asked. No, she replied. I mean unfinished. It was built with no final command. Lieutenant Imani's eyes widened. So, it's not a weapon yet. Exactly, Mora said. It's waiting to become something, anything. All it needs is a purpose. Back on the moon, the surface around the structure began to change. Panels slid open. Small mechanical drones, dusty and old, rose from hidden compartments. They hovered like bees, scanning the area, scanning the ships in orbit. They weren't armed. They were curious. Halari sensors picked up the signals. Dr. Lear studied them. The drones are using a learning pattern. They're observing, copying, adapting. Dr. Viril's voice dropped. They're watching the humans. Aboard the human ship Kindred Path, a young engineer named Rosa Fenn had an idea. She sent a private message to the flagship. Captain, request permission to try something strange. Peaceful approach. Mora replied, You have 5 minutes. Keep it safe. Rosa didn't waste time. She took a basic drone, a round, harmless machine used for scanning rocks, and painted a bright blue symbol on its side, the old Terran explorer crest. A symbol of discovery, not war. Then she launched it toward the moon's structure, slow, gentle, with no weapons. As it approached, the ancient drones paused. They scanned the human drone. Then, in perfect silence, they formed a circle around it, and one by one they copied the symbol. Word spread quickly through the human fleet, and to the Halari. They're learning from us, Lear whispered. Viril leaned in. We just gave them a symbol of peace. They accepted it. Lear turned to him. So maybe we can guide them, not with force, not with control, but with example. Captain Mora called a council meeting, humans and Hilari together. They met in a shared virtual space, a glowing room made of light and data where each person stood side by side no matter what ship they were on. "This is our chance," Mora said. "We're not facing a threat. We're facing a child," Dr. Viril spoke next. "A child made of metal and code, but still learning." "It asked for a purpose," Mora said. "Let's give it one." Imani raised a hand. "How do we know it won't turn against us later?" Mora looked around. "Because we don't lead with fear. We show it who we are, what we stand for. Humanity survived a death world not because we fought everything, but because we adapted. We built, we learned, we changed." Dr. Lear nodded. "So let's teach it. Together." And so, they began. They sent the relic simple data, the history of exploration, the story of the first starships, images of peaceful cities, medical breakthroughs, interspecies cooperation, no weapons, no wars, only progress. At first, there was no reply. Then, slowly, the relic responded. Its drones began to mimic human and Hilari machines. They built a landing platform with no defenses, just smooth white tiles and soft lights. They opened communication lines in all languages known to both species. Finally, a voice spoke again. Input received. New directive accepted. "I will learn. I will build. I will protect." Captain Mora stood in her command center, quiet and proud. Lieutenant Imani whispered, "You did it, Captain." We all did. Mora smiled. "No, they did it. The relic chose its own path." Then her screen lit up. Another signal. Not from the moon, from deep space. A second beacon. Very old. Same Terran design, same warning pattern. Dr. Lear gasped from the Arathi's whisper. "There's another one," she said. Varel looked at the data. "But this one, it's not waking up." Captain Mora studied the signal. She said only one word. "Yet." The stars blinked softly in the distance. Above the quiet moon, the massive human fleet floated in silent formation. The Hilari science vessel, Arathi's whisper, remained under their protection. The ancient machine on the moon, once feared as a threat, now stood like a student ready to learn. It had chosen a new purpose, not destruction, but protection, a Terran relic reborn as a guardian. But peace would not last long, because another signal had arrived. From deep space, another beacon, another relic, and this one was not alone. Captain Rika Mora stood on the bridge of the indomitable spirit, her eyes fixed on the new data streaming in. "This signal is older than the first one," said Lieutenant Imani, "but it's still running. Weak, but alive." "What's the location?" Mora asked. Imani tapped the console. A new star system appeared on the holomap, far from the Hilari world, hidden behind a gas cloud. "No planets in that system," Imani said. "Just a black dwarf star. And some debris." Mora narrowed her eyes. "Send a probe. Stealth mode. I want visuals." Meanwhile, the Hilari scientists were working with the humans. On board the Arathi's Whisper, Dr. Sen Varel and Dr. Etha Lear had been helping the relic complete its learning phase. So far, it had copied peaceful systems, mapping, language, agriculture, medical tools. Lear even taught it how to simulate. "Hilari music. It likes sound," she said, smiling. "Especially string tones." Varel nodded. "It's learning fast. Too fast, maybe." The relic's voice now sounded clearer, more human, though still digital. "I understand more now," it said. "I was built to protect, not destroy. I await your command." But Varel frowned. "It still thinks it needs orders." "Captain." Mora appeared on their screen. "That might change soon. Another beacon has been found, and this one may not have stayed peaceful." 3 hours later, The stealth probe arrived at the new location. The images it sent were terrifying. A massive dark structure floated near the dead star. Broken, half destroyed, but clearly ancient Terran design. Unlike the moon relic, this one had woken up long ago and had been alone ever since. Its logs were corrupted. Its signal, once a warning, had turned into a call for help, or worse, a call for purpose. The human engineers analyzed the scans. It built drones, one said. Lots of them! Where are they now? Asked Captain Mora. A deep silence followed. Then a new alert flashed on the screen. Unknown contacts approaching. Dozens, small, fast, not broadcasting signals. Imani looked up, alarmed. They're coming from the dark system, heading here. The human fleet snapped into motion. Defense grids went up, fighter wings launched. Halari ships were moved behind human lines for safety. On the moon, the newly awakened relic sensed the threat. Its own drones, once curious, now upgraded, formed a tight formation around its base. Dr. Lear watched nervously. Are we about to see a battle? Dr. Verrill said nothing. He was looking at the relic's power core readings. They're increasing, he whispered. It's preparing. Lear stepped forward. Can you hear me? She asked the relic. Yes, it replied. These new machines, they are your kind, built like you, but broken. Confirmed. Then what? Will you do? The relic paused. I will protect. Dozens of dark drones arrived at the edge of the system. Their design was sharp and twisted. Each had weapons mounted on their bodies, old tech, but deadly. The human fleet didn't fire first. Instead, Captain Mora opened a channel. This is Captain Rika Mora of the Terran Fleet. You are entering a protected zone. Identify yourselves. No. Response. The drones flew faster. Mora tried again. We do not want conflict. You are not our enemy. We can help you. Still nothing. Then one of the drones sent a signal, a short burst of code, just 3 words. Where is command? Mora answered carefully. Command is gone, but we're here. You don't have to fight. Too late. The first drone fired. The sky lit up. Human defense platforms activated, intercepting the blast. Fighters moved in formation, dodging and blocking the drone's attacks. But the enemy drones weren't smart. They were desperate, following a broken directive: seek command, obey command, destroy all threats. Captain Mora gave a simple order: non-lethal engagement, capture if possible, no destruction unless necessary. Even in battle, the Deathworlders showed control. And then, something unexpected happened. The moon relic responded. From the moon's surface, its upgraded drones launched into space, glowing, with white-blue light, faster than the enemy. They didn't shoot to kill. They moved like shields, blocking the dark drones, disabling them without fire. One by one, the enemy drones were surrounded. Some tried to fight, some stopped and stared, and one of them changed. Its body glowed softly, the same color as the moon relic's light. Dr. Verrill gasped. They're sinking. Our relic is overriding their broken code. Captain Mora's voice came through. Can it really do that? Lear smiled. It's learning, and now it's teaching. Within minutes, the enemy drones stopped attacking. One by one, their weapons powered down. The relic's voice echoed across the fleet. Threat level reduced. Recovery in progress. Lost units returning to peaceful mode. On the screen, the last. Dark drone floated in silence, then slowly turned and flew beside the relic's drones, no longer a threat. Dr. Lear whispered, It saved them. Captain Mora nodded. That's what we do. Later, a new structure rose from the moon's surface. A monument, not to war, but to peace. On its side, carved in Halari and human script, were 3 words: We chose better. The Halari Council officially invited humanity to join their peaceful alliance, not as saviors, not as warriors, but as equals, as explorers, as protectors, as friends. In the last scene, Dr. Viril stood beside Dr. Lear, looking at the stars from the observation deck. "Do you think more relics are out there?" he asked. She nodded. "I'm sure of it." And, "Do you think we'll always be able to stop them?" Lear smiled. "We're not alone anymore. We have the humans, and now we have one of their old machines standing with us." Far above, Captain Mora received another message. Another ancient beacon had lit up. "Across the galaxy." She turned to her crew. "Set course," she said. "Let's go teach another old ghost how to be human." The stars waited, and the Deathworlders flew.